Hello everyone, in this video today I want to show you how to crochet my mandala cowl. As always, all instructions can be found at craftytoots.com, things like gauge, stitches used, and more. We're going to need 1 cake of the mandala yarn by Lion Brand. I like to pull the yarn from the center, but you can start from the outside to the inside. We're also going to need a size G crochet hook or a hook that will let you get the same gauge as mine. Again, at craftytoots.com you can find all this information. Let's start with a slip stitch and tighten up that slip stitch inner hook. And for this project in particular, we need 199 chain stitches. If you need help with any stitches, I have a resource page at craftytoots.com that is named Learn to Crochet, and there I have many tutorials and video tutorials to help you with basic stitches like single crochet, double crochet, and so on. Once we have all our chain stitches, make sure that none of your stitches are twisted, and we're going to join to work in the round, and to do so we're going to use a slip stitch. And now we can start round number 1. So chain 3, and we're going to create a double crochet in each stitch all the way around. You can follow this video, or you can also check the blog for the written instructions. Use both, pause this video, or do what works best for you. Okay, once we get to the end, let me do the last double crochet in this round, and we are going to close with a slip stitch. At every end of round we need to use a slip stitch to close. So now chain 4, and we can start round number 2. We're going to skip our first stitch and do a double crochet on the next following stitch, and then repeat a round. So chain 1, then skip 1 stitch and do a double crochet on the next one, and repeat this all the way around until the end. Again, chain 1, skip 1 stitch, double crochet next. Here I am also at the end of my round. So double crochet on the very last stitch, and then do a slip stitch to close. Make sure you do it on the 3rd chain and not on the 4th, so you don't lose a stitch. So let's start with row number 3 with chain 3, and we're going to do a DC in our chain space, then chain 1, skip our double crochet and do a double crochet over the next chain space, and keep repeating this all the way around until we get to our last stitch. So here I'm almost at the end. Skip 1, DC in our chain space, and here our very last stitch is going to be a chain 1. We skip this, and then we do a slip stitch to close it in the round. Now moving on, round number 4, we're doing it. We're going to do a chain 4. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. We're going to skip 1 stitch, and there in the chain space we're going to do 3 double crochet together. Then chain 1, skip 1 stitch, and again work in our chain space. And to do the 3 double crochet together, we just need to do half of the double crochet 3 times, and at the last time we pull our yarn through all the loops that remain in our hook. Here you can see 1, and we don't close it, then do 2, don't close it still, then 3, and now we close them all together. Then chain 1 and repeat all the way around until the very last stitch, the very last chain stitch. Here you can see there's our last chain space. We're gonna do 1 more 3 double crochet together and then close with a slip stitch. So we're going to do a chain 1 to start round number 5 and do a single crochet around. Very quick and easy round. Just 1 single crochet in each stitch all the way around. And once we get to the end, as always, we need to close with a slip stitch. So let me fast forward this, as I'm sure you already know how to work single crochets. And let's get to the end and close with a slip stitch and get ready to start our row number 6. So for row number 6 and 7, it's going to be the same. We're going to do a chain 1 and we're going to do a back loop single crochet. Here I'm showing you how. Instead of working normal, we're going to do a single crochet through the back loop. And we're going to do it all the way around for round 6, that is this one we're currently working on, and also on round number 7. Again, as all the previous rounds and all the future rounds, we're going to close with a slip stitch. I'm getting to the end of round number 7 right here. Since they are the same, I just skipped the ending of round number 6 and I'm showing you just the end of round number 7. Slip stitch. I'm getting ready to start number 8, so chain 3. We're gonna skip 2 stitches, and on the same stitch we're gonna do a double crochet, chain 1, and double crochet again in the same stitch. So now we're gonna repeat this all the way around. So we skip 2 stitches, 1 and 2, and on the next one we work double crochet, chain 1, double crochet on the same stitch. And then just keep going all the way to the end, skipping 2, double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, and so on. Here we're getting to almost the end, so skip 2. Oops, got a little mistake, so let's start over. Skip 2, double crochet, chain 1, double crochet on the very same stitch. Now as you can notice, there's 2 stitches that you can skip, but the last one won't give us space for another V. So we're going to do a double crochet and then we're going to do a slip stitch to close. So the very first and last stitch are actually double crochets and not the V stitches that we were doing. Okay, let's move on to the next one and chain 3. Then we're going to do a double crochet, chain double crochet in our chain space. Here you don't really need to worry to skip stitches because you just need to know that every stitch, every combination of stitches, you need to work on the chain space from the previous round. Again, skip to the next chain space, double crochet, chain 1 and double crochet again, and you will do it all the way to the end. And once you get to the end, you will work all V stitches over the V stitches, and if you remember, the very last stitch has to be a double crochet. So here the very last stitch is a double crochet and then we close it with a slip stitch. So now we do a chain 3 to start round number 10, and then we're going to do 3 double crochets in each chain space. Again, you don't need to worry about how many stitches you need to skip, because just know that in each chain space from the previous round we're going to work 3 normal double crochet. You will do this all the way around until you get just before the last stitch, because the last stitch again is going to be a double crochet. Here you can start to see the gradient that this kind of cake is creating. So let's keep going. And I decided to create almost every round a different stitch. That way the abrupt change in the colors won't be noticeable. Okay, so here we have our last stitch, so double crochet and slip stitch to close. So now we can start our round number 11. And you need to know that the round we're doing now is also going to be repeated for round number 12. So let's do chain 1. We're going to do a single crochet on the next stitch, then chain 2, skip 2 stitches, and single crochet on the next stitch. And then we repeat this around. Chain 2, skip 2 stitches, single crochet on the next one. It will be on the third one since we skip 1, so the third one gets a single crochet. Chain 2, 1, 2, skip stitches, single crochet on the third one. You will repeat this all the way around until you get to the last stitch, and the very last stitch is going to be a single crochet again. And remember, you will do this for this round, that is the number 11, and again for round number 12. Here I am finishing up round number 12. Just keep going with your chain 2 and single crochet after skipping 2 stitches. Okay, and for round number 13 we do a chain 3, then we do 2 single crochets, chain 1, we skip 1 stitch, and then we do 2 double crochets on the chain stitches, chain 1, skip that single crochet stitch, 2 double crochets on the chain space from below, and we keep repeating. Chain 1, skip 1 stitch, 2 double crochet on the chain space below. We repeat this all the way around to the last stitch, and we do a double crochet on the last stitch. As always, we close with a slip stitch when we finish our round. So now let's start round number 14 and do a chain 5. We're going to skip to the next chain space and do a 3 double crochet together. Then chain 2, skip those 2 double crochet, and again we're going to do 3 double crochet together in the chain space from the round below. And you need to repeat this all the way around to the last chain space, where you're going to work another 3 DC together, chain 2, but the last stitch will be a double crochet. So let's keep doing this part and get closer to finishing this round. So it's almost done. Chain 2, 3 double crochet all together in the chain space, chain 2 again. Here we still have chain space, so we still do the 3 double crochet together, chain 2, we skip 2 stitches and do a double crochet on the very last stitch, and we join with a slip stitch on the 3rd chain. So chain 3, we're going to do double crochets all the way around. And just to remind you, this will be round number 15. It's a very easy round, just double crochet, you don't need to count, just each and single one until you get to the end, and again a slip stitch to close. Okay, so now we can close it and get ready to start our round number 16, and number 16 and 17 will be the same. So chain 3, we're going to do a front post double crochet just like I'm showing you right here, and the next one is going to be a back post double crochet, and then we're going to repeat this all the way around. One front post, one back post, one front post double crochet, one back post double crochet in this round, that is 16, and on the next one, that is round 17. And as always, on both of them we're going to use a slip stitch to close. If you're not a fan of doing the front post and back post double crochet, you can also just do double crochet each stitch around. It won't be the same, it won't have the same texture, but it will still be close enough. As you can see, doing the back post and front post, sometimes it gets to be a little bit tricky, so it's totally fine if you decide to just do double crochets instead. Here I am reaching the end of round number 17, because as I mentioned before, is the same as the round below, so no need to show you the same thing twice, and let's just move forward to the next round. And here to the very last stitch of this round, close it and get ready to start round number 18. So we're going to do a chain 3 to start round number 18. Do 3 regular double crochet, so 1, let me get my yarn, 2, oh, let's just start over. The yarn wasn't cooperating, so this will be 2 and 3 double crochets. So now we're going to do a chain 3, and we are going to skip 3 stitches, then do 4 double crochets. So 2, 3 and 4. And this is the part that we're gonna repeat around. Chain 3, skip 3 stitches, followed by 4 double crochet, just regular, one after the other, double crochets. And again, you just need to repeat this part all the way until the end. And once you reach the end, remember to close it with a slip stitch. So we skip all our 3 stitches and then we close it with a slip stitch. So chain 3 to start round number 19, then do a double crochet on the next stitch. We're going to do a chain 2, skip 2 stitches, and then we're going to do 3 double crochet in the chain space. Now chain 4, we're going to skip all those double crochets and then work in the chain space, again doing 3 double crochets in there. And we are going to repeat this all the way around. Chain 4, skip 4 stitches, which happens to be all the double crochets, so you have to start working on the next chain space and do 3 double crochets in there. Chain 4, skip all double crochets, 3 double crochet in chain space, over and over until you get to the end, and you work 3 double crochets on the very last chain space. And you know it, again we're going to use a slip stitch to close this round. Okay, so let's do a chain 3 to start round number 20, followed by a double crochet on the very next stitch, chain 2, skip 2 stitches and do 3 double crochets. That would be above the previous one. Okay, now we do a chain 2. And on this chain space, we're going to do 2 single crochets, chain 2 again, and we are going to do 3 double crochets on the following double crochets. Let me get more yarn. And then we repeat this part again all the way to the end. So chain 2, on the chain space we do 2 single crochets, chain 2 again, we skip the remaining chains stitches and we do 3 double crochets on the following double crochets. Let me show you at least one more time. Chain 2, 2 double crochets on the chain space, followed by chain 2. We skip the remaining chain stitches and do 3 double crochets on top of the previous double crochets. Okay, so we repeat this all the way until the end. Here you can see it's almost the end of this round. Chain 2, skip the remaining chain stitches, and our last stitches are going to be the 3 double crochets. And as always, a slip stitch to close. Okay, so let's get started on round number 21. So chain 3, a double crochet on the very next stitch, chain 2, we skip 2 stitches and do 3 double crochets on the following stitches, Now chain 4, and we're going to skip all those previous, the chain and single crochet, and we're going to start working on the next double crochet and do another 3 double crochets. Chain 4, skip all those stitches. You don't need to count them, you just skip them, and you know that you have to start your next 3DC over the previous ones. And again, just keep going until you get all the way around. Almost done, just one more repeat, and then again close it with a slip stitch. I'm sure by now you're tired of hearing me say that, so maybe I will just start saying it. So chain 1, and then we're going to do single crochet around. On every single stitch we just do single crochet around. Very easy round, no need to counting, no need to think too much, just single crochet. Since it's a very easy round, I'm just gonna fast forward until we get almost to the end, so I can show you the next round, which will be round number 23. Do a chain 1, single crochet, chain 1, skip 1, then chain 1, skip 1, single crochet, and repeat all the way around. Chain 1, skip 1, single crochet on the next one. This is also known as moss stitch. For round number 24, we have to do a chain 1, single crochet on the next 2 stitches, and then we do chain 1, skip 1, single crochet on the next one. I'm sorry I'm not showing you the start of this. Apparently I lost the footage of this video, but here I am right in the middle of doing it. You are going to skip the single crochet from below and work over each chain space. Basically, we're just alternating the round before creating our moss stitch. Okay, now we can close with a slip stitch and move on to round number 25. For this, we're going to do a chain 4, skip 1 stitch, DC or double crochet on the next one, chain 1, skip 1, double crochet, and then we repeat all the way around. Chain 1, skip 1, double crochet. Again, all the way until we reach to the end, and again we have to close it with a slip stitch. Okay, so let's get started on round number 26 with a chain 3. We're going to do a double crochet 4 together in the chain space. Then do a chain 1, skip 1 stitch, and work again on the chain space, doing another 4 double crochet together, and we're going to repeat this all the way around. Chain 1, skip the next stitch, work over the chain space, and do 4 double crochets. Here you can see that I just do the first half of the double crochets, and then I do all of them together. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. Finally, we close all of them together, and we just keep repeating all the way around. Always skipping the double crochet from below and always working over the chain space from the round below. Okay, so our very last stitch is a chain space, so we work our four DC together, and we don't do a chain 1 because there's no stitch to skip, and then we just do a slip stitch to close it. Chain 4 to start our row number 27. We're going to skip 1 stitch and we're going to do a DC 4 together in the chain space. So it's almost the same as the previous. The only difference is that now we're going to alternate it, but we still be working our 4 DC together in each chain space. Then chain 1, skip that stitch and work 4 double crochet together in the chain space, and just keep going all the way around. It's a bit time consuming, but it's not really that hard. It's just working 4 halves of the double crochet first and then closing them all together. Then finally we do a chain 1 because we don't have any more chain spaces to work, and then close it with a slip stitch. With the chain 3 we're going to start round number 28, and this one is going to be a very easy one. We just have to do double crochet all the way around. So just keep going with your double crochet until you get to the end, and you already know slip stitch to close. So chain 3, and we are going to do a back post double crochet in every single one. There's no alternating in this one, it's just back post double crochet in every single one. Again, so once you get to the end, you're gonna use a slip stitch to close. And for round number 30 we do a chain 3. We're going to skip 1 stitch and we're going to do a double crochet on the next stitch, and then we're going to do work a double crochet on the stitch we skipped. Again, skip 1 stitch, do a double crochet, and work a double crochet on the skip with stitch, and we're going to do it through the back. And then you can repeat this all the way around. And the following round is also going to be the same as this one, where you need to skip 1 stitch, work a double crochet, and then work the stitch that you skipped through the back. Our very next round needs a chain 4. We're going to skip 1 stitch, do a double crochet on the next one, chain 1, skip 1 stitch, and double crochet on the next one again, and keep repeating this all the way around. Here we're almost at the end. And we do a chain 1, skip 1, and we don't do a double crochet anymore because it's time to close. Slip stitch and we close it. For the following round we have a chain 3, and we do a double crochet, skip 1, and double crochet on the next one, and just keep repeating all the way around. For our very last round, we're going to do a chain 3 and double crochet all the way around. So we are closing our rounds. Our beginning and last round are pretty much the same to create a symmetric edge, but the middle is going to be the focus and is going to be what is all different. But we can have clean edges. Okay, we're almost done, so just one last slip stitch. Now we can cut our yarn, fasten off, and weave in this edge to hide this little bitty tip of yarn. And if your gauge is correct, you should still have a bit left of yarn, and I'm going to use it to create fringe. I'm using this tassel maker, although I won't be making tassels. It's just so I can have each fringe of the same size, and I just keep rolling the yarn around. Then I take it off and I need to cut one of the sides, and I could cut again, but I want them to be slightly big. Okay, so here I find that didn't cut all my yarn, so let's fix that. And now with the help of my hook, I will just grab one by one. I don't have that much yarn, so it's going to be just one yarn each, and as you can see, with the help of my hook, I'm just gonna place it there and then repeat it. I'm moving to the very opposite side because I want to make sure that all my fringe is equally distributed. So then again I pull a loop, and then I pull a loop again, and that will lock it into place. It will stay there unless you go in and try to take it. If not, it will stay there. So just keep repeating this. You can use, if you have more yarn, you can do more fringe, you can do a fuller fringe, or you can do the same as I'm doing and do just one by one. Or maybe you don't like fringe, you don't have to do it if you don't like it. Whatever works for you. You can do small tassels. Many options to make beautiful. And it's done. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to subscribe if you're new to my channel, and go to craftytoots.com so you can have all the written instructions and other information regarding this cowl. Also, if you are an Instagram user, please use the hashtag Mandala Cowl so I can find your final objects.